The story begins with the boy driving his Ferrari to school, and the name of this lucky guy, none other than Shen Yuan himself. Everyone takes pictures, shocked, and soon, a baddie steps out of the car. The guys nearby start complaining this bastard just entered school and is already dating the goddess of the second year. A guy with glasses, his eyes trembling, says that life is easy when you're born rich and good-looking. You just pick whoever you want. But his friend beside him disagrees, saying that Shen Yuan isn't just picking whoever he wants, he's picking everyone. Even the first-year girls aren't being spared. Our boy is walking beside his date, and let's just say, she's got that confident posture, chest up to the sky. The girls watching are jealous of her, wondering if they should try to win him over again. One friend, applying lipstick, tells another not to give up. Opportunities must be created. Meanwhile, the king himself is just happy. However, this luxurious life of his didn't last long. As soon as he finished high school and went to university, the fun was over. That's because his family, which ran 3 travel agencies, went bankrupt. And not only that, they were left with millions in debt. He gets to his dorm room and calls his friends to play some League of Legends. But they just tell him to scram, saying it's no fun if he's not paying for everything. Right in front of him, our boy realizes he was abandoned by this bunch of fakes the moment he ran out of money. The worst part? His parents and sister now live in a cramped little place while he has to stay in the university dorms. In this situation, all that freedom he once felt disappeared. He thought it was over, until something happened. He approaches a girl leaning against the wall. This was his current girlfriend, known as Zhou Wanting. And right away, she delivers the obvious news, folks. Their relationship is over. She simply says she hopes he finds someone who understands him better in the future. The poor guy is stunned. He says they've been together for 3 years. How can she just break up with him out of nowhere? Does she have no heart? But the girl doesn't spare him. She says their relationship was never built on pure love. Besides, if they ever see each other again, he better not call her king. She hates that kind of nickname. Or rather, she already has one foot out the door and tells him never to see her again. Shen Yuan, however, relaxes and lets out a sigh. Just as she reaches for the car door handle, saying her friend has arrived, he stops her. She asks what he wants, and he tells her to return all those expensive designer bags he bought for her. This makes her furious. She says that after 3 years of dating, the least she deserves is to keep all the junk he gave her. Shen Yuan tells her that if she doesn't want to return them, they can always go on one last adventure. But she, enraged, just tells him to go to hell. Then the guy in the car calls her king and tells her to get in. And while at it, he looks at Shen Yuan and asks if he wants a ride. At that moment, Shen Yuan realizes that when he called her king, she made a scene. But when this guy says it, she doesn't care. Still, he simply tells the guy not to worry, he lives nearby. But the man insists, saying he's in no hurry. If Shen Yuan wants a ride, all he has to do is ask. He just wants to make sure the guy gets home safe. However, Shen Yuan knows this bastard only wants to get him in the car to humiliate him. So he leans against the window and tells the guy he really is a good person, but there's no need to worry. He's just a few steps away. He opens the car door for Zhou Wanting and tells the guy to take good care of her because she's a really nice girl. The guy smirks and says not to worry. She's in good hands. And with that, Shen Yuan nods. He says he appreciates those words. Men like them should really give their best to women. That's why it's good for the guy to know that her favorite condoms are mint-flavored. Also, there's no point in buying her overly fancy lingerie. She finds it uncomfortable. And her favorite roleplay outfits, doctor and police officer. Right there, he drops all the information for the guy to realize he's a fool. However, the dude in the car isn't too happy with this free lesson and quickly slams the door before speeding off. Shen Yuan is left there thinking that the guy just doesn't understand. He was only trying to help. Besides, he hopes Wang Qing does well in life. After all, she probably thinks this was the best choice. They have nothing to do with each other anymore, so he wishes her the perfect life. Our boy is an emotionless Sigma, folks. Not only did he remain unfazed by the breakup, but he also roasted both of them and walked away unbothered. But then, by a twist of fate, the system appears. And it says that maybe everyone deserves the chance to live a perfect life. That's when the perfect life system begins to load. Shen Yuan's stats pop up minus 21 years old, 1.82 meters tall. Why am I reading this guy's stats? No idea, man. We don't even care about that. Shen Yuan stands there, confused, wondering what kind of madness is appearing in front of him. And then the system speaks. To live the perfect life, he doesn't just need money, he needs admiration from the opposite sex. His first mission is to spend money on an appropriate person of the opposite sex with an affinity score of at least 60. By doing this, he will gain more admiration. Whatever amount he spends on her, he will get back multiplied by 3. And if the affinity increased in the meantime, he would earn double. At least the math is easy to understand. He earns 3 times what he spends, and if affinity rises, well, he earns 6 times. He's standing there, glancing around nervously. And then the first victim appears. Folks, it's the trash tier counselor. But let's be real, there's nothing trash about her. She's top tier. She's impressed, saying that Shen Yuan is a real man. A guy shouldn't be suffering just because a girl broke up with him. He's standing there, all unsure, and then he notices something above her head. There's a little heart with 65 inside it. That's her affinity score. Right away, he starts believing that maybe this little system is real, and the counselor tells him to cheer up and not let this bring him down. Feeling a bit embarrassed, he thanks her while thinking that he might have just gained an advantage. Then she comments he applied for a scholarship, right? After all, the guy's broke as hell, and she says that soon it might be approved. But clearly he trusts the system way too much because he immediately tells her not to worry about the scholarship anymore. After all, it wouldn't make much difference considering the size of his family's debt. The trashier queen tells him that if he ever has any problems in the future, he can come to her, even if it's about romance. With that, she waves and walks away. And Shen Yuan is left thinking, she fits all the system's requirements. So in theory, the money should triple. It was time to test it out. So he grabs her hand. He then thanks her for her encouraging words and asks if she'd like to go out for some bubble tea with him. And just like that, he's already investing. She was looking a little shy but happy. And right away, Shen Yuan starts doing the math. He had 87. Damn, this guy is broke. That's barely $15. If the money tripled, he should go up to 99. And that's exactly what happens. That's when he starts thinking if he just kept spending on her, the money would keep multiplying. This was the opportunity he needed to pay off his family's debts and finally get out of this miserable situation. It was time to go back to being his old self, or maybe even better. The problem? Multiplying 99 is nothing. So the first objective was to get a large amount of money and the right person to spend it on. And this madman, he already hit up loan sharks, borrowed from banks, and managed to scrape together $49,000. There's a risk he'll get killed and ruin his credit forever. But it's all or nothing. The only issue is that he has to be careful with the gift he's about to buy for his teacher. She knows he's broke, so she might refuse to accept it. 1 hour passes. He bought a Prada bag for her and spent almost all the money. The plan? Tell her it's just a cheap knockoff so she'll accept it. The only problem? He's standing outside her door knocking, and he doesn't even know if she's married. Man, the queen answers, and I'm sure she puts love into her cooking. She looks a little surprised, wondering what this lunatic is doing at her door. And then he tells her that ever since he started school, she's always taken such good care of him. Now that he realizes how precious her support is, he decided to bring her a gift. Lai Xiao immediately notices that it looks expensive and refuses to accept it. She tells him that as a teacher, it's her job to support students. He doesn't need to do this. But this smooth liar quickly reassures her, saying there's nothing to worry about. It's just a fake bag and it only costs 200. All he wants is for her to accept it as a token of appreciation. She hesitates, feeling a little guilty. It would be too rude to refuse something so simple. So she says she'll accept it, but when his birthday comes, she'll return the favor. Then suddenly, smoke starts coming from the kitchen, and she runs off. This madman, he doesn't waste a second. He just walks in. Now that she technically invited in, right? But he was already there. For him, as long as she doesn't have a boyfriend and he doesn't get killed, everything's fine. Besides, it was time to start getting that sweet system cash. And just like that, the spending is marked as successful, and his money jumps to 120,000. After paying off the loan shark so he doesn't wake up in Rio tomorrow, he'd still have 80,000 left. It's not like he, a former millionaire, isn't used to having this kind of money. But coming from rock bottom, the feeling is different. Then Lai Xiao calls him out. Why is he just standing there staring at his phone? She tells him to sit down already. Shen Yuan, though, he wants to know, where's her boyfriend? Man, and she's over there cooking and casually says, she doesn't have a boyfriend. Wait, what? This guy instantly moves in to help her take off her apron. Damn, this dude is attacking. Unfortunately, the apron is all tangled up and it's taking a lot of effort to remove it. And then, out of nowhere, another queen bursts into the house, asking what the hell this bastard thinks he's doing. This one? She's the counselor's sister. Her name's Lai Meng. And the scene she walks in on, peculiar, to say the least. While Lai Xiao tells her to come eat, our boy quickly says, I'm not doing anything. And just like that, she rushes in, hugs her sister, and introduces herself. Folks, another queen has arrived. Our boy, feeling a little awkward, gives a small wave. But Meng, she simply says she doesn't feel comfortable with him in the house. To avoid any drama, Shen Yuan decides to head out. Suddenly, he's not hungry anymore. Lai Xiao finds it weird. He was just about to sit down. But her sister tells her not to get close to him. This guy is weird. The counselor insists he's just a student. There's no way he'd try anything like that. But her sister? She's certain that this bastard was up to something suspicious. Out on the streets, Shen Yuan's biggest concern is figuring out who to spend money on next. It's hard to invest too much in Lai Xiao when they don't have a real relationship. Suddenly, someone bumps into him. When he looks to the side, the guy's hand is shaking, and Shen Yuan asks Huang Hebao what happened. Hebao says that his goddess, Fang Minhui, went to the movies with some guy named Zhang Ping. The protagonist is a little confused. He knows for a fact that this guy has never been involved with Minhui. After all, she's the goddess of a certain class and would never get with him. His friend tells him to understand the pain of losing a goddess like that. Then our boy takes a look to the side. Man, the artist of this story is a genius, because suddenly, two baddies show up. The blonde and the dark-haired one. That's Minhui, the so-called goddess. Turns out, Habo was right, and now he's all happy since she's already back. Looks like she didn't move to a hotel with Shangping. Shen Yuan, however, realizes his friend is destroying his own dignity, so he's never going to have a chance. Then something surprising happens. Above Minhui's head, there's a 72, and she's standing there with her toned abs while her friend asks if she knows that Shen Yuan just got dumped. As soon as she hears that, she remembers. Man, this Minhui girl, she used to simp for our boy. She would buy him water, juice, and all sorts of things, just to try and get closer to him. For God's sake, man, the artist is a legend. The king of angles is cameraman, and Minhui's friend, she hates Shen Yuan, saying he was already bad when he was rich and arrogant. Now that he's poor and arrogant, he's even worse. Man, our boy watches from afar as the little hearts above Minhui's head start dropping. He needs someone to spend money on, so he has to save those hearts. Right away, he turns to his friend and asks if he'd be sad if he and Minhui started dating. But his friend just laughs and tells him to stop dreaming. He's not the rich guy he used to be, driving the 4 Series BMW. Still, as long as Minhui isn't with Shangping, Haibo's already happy. The moment Shen Yuan hears that, he dashes toward Minhui. He walks up and calls her Comrade Minhui. Man, and she's tall. And just like that, her friend immediately steps in for protection. What is this, American football? She demands to know what Shen Yuan is doing here. But our boy, he's straight to the point. He asks Minhui if she's free tomorrow to grab some sushi with him. She blushes, totally confused as to why this guy is suddenly asking her out. And her friend? She already knows. He's inviting her to sing sushi. Man, that name is almost a tongue twister. A place where the bill never goes under 1,000. Shen Yuan is a sneaky guy. He quickly says that he actually wants her help picking out a gift for his little sister. He trusts her good taste since she's always given him nice presents. Ah, the bastard's a genius. With that, he just walks off, saying, "See you tomorrow." Minhui feels a little unsure since she just went to the movies with Shangping. But her friend tells her she can't refuse. She was invited to sing sushi or sushi. Whatever it's called, it has sushi. This friend did a full 360. Now she's saying that Shen Yuan might be a little arrogant, but at least he's hot. Shangping might have family money, but he's ugly as hell. So she tells Minhui to go for it. She has nothing to lose by eating free sushi. And just like that, we fast forward. The couple arrives at the restaurant and all the fancy dishes are being served. And of course, the artist stops exactly at the moment when Minhui is about to sit down, for unknown reasons. Meanwhile, Minhui has found out that Shen Yuan's family is struggling financially. She tells him he shouldn't be spending money like this on her. Sitting down or about to sit down, who knows? The artist is unstoppable. But on screen, it's our boy's thoughts that appear. He realizes it's been only 2 months since the last time she gave him gifts. Now he's feeling a little awkward. Then Minhui asks, why did he suddenly invite her to dinner? And what's this about buying a present for his sister? He replies that he's always wanted to invite her to dinner. He just never found the right time. Man, the hearts start dropping. He realizes that's not the answer she wanted, and he's confused. Then he quickly says, he remembers how she always used to buy things for him, how she loved chatting with him on WhatsApp at night. The moment she hears that he remembers, the hearts start rising again. Man, this system makes life too easy. What a cheater. Shen Yuan stays calm and 40 minutes pass. He's already paying the bill. Even with a discount, it still costs 2,700. Seeing how much money he's spending, Minhui is shocked. When she went out with Shangping, the rich guy, he was stingy as hell. Meanwhile, poor Lo Shen Yuan, he's spending everything. And since her affinity started at 72 and is now at 76, he's getting a bonus reward. He's about to make over 10,000 from this meal, which is insane. Meanwhile, Minhui is thinking. The more she looks at this guy, the more she likes him. And she grabs his hand, saying, it's time for us to go shopping. And as they arrive at the mall, just like in our legendary $90 billion story, he runs into his ex with a loser, and she looks furious, wondering how the hell this bastard she dumped yesterday is already with someone new. Meanwhile, the old man is even more pissed off. He had to spend a fortune just to get this Dan wanting. And yet that broke bastard is already with another girl the very next day. Our boy is inviting Minhui to help him pick out gifts. And right then, the old man calls out to him, saying it's a coincidence that they're here and suggesting they take a walk together. On the other hand, Wanting is furious, demanding to know what he's doing here and who that girl is. Not really caring, Shen Yuan simply says he's there to buy some gifts for his sister. The old man is trying to humiliate him, saying that this shopping mall doesn't have discounts. And Wanting walks up to Minhui, telling her she better wake up and not get fooled by this guy. Shen Yuan steps in and asks what the hell she's talking about. When did he ever fool her? She just turns away and the old man sneers, saying Shen Yuan is embarrassing himself. A bankrupt family and he's still pretending he has money to spend in this place. Our protagonist is starting to get pissed off. At this point, he wants these two to just die together already. And that's when the system speaks up. Someone living a perfect life shouldn't be humiliated like this. He has to spend money to raise affinity with someone who likes him, and at the same time lower the affinity of those who hate him. For every 5 hatred points he generates, his money will double. Our boy was thinking about being the bigger person and not humiliating them in public, but apparently, the system won't allow it. So he just tells Manhwa, "It's time for us to go." Turns out the dude is famous at this mall. Women are already whispering. The former rich boy is back. Manhwa seems hesitant. After all, everyone knows he's broke, so he won't be buying anything. But another saleswoman rushes over and tells him to come in. Meanwhile, Manhwa is hinting for the old man to buy her the handbag. The store clerk who has to serve Shen Yuan, she's pissed off. She always wants to serve wealthy customers and leave the broke ones to the others. Manhwa is already at the cash register, obviously making the cuckold pay for everything. Meanwhile, Manhwa helps our boy pick out a handbag that represents his sister's youthful energy. The saleswoman next to him doesn't care much and just says, "That's quite expensive. It's over 50,000. While the cuck is standing there seething at wanting. He only planned to spend 20,000 on her today. But just these bags alone were already going over 100,000. However, this girl, she plays the double game. She tells him to show how rich and powerful he is, to humiliate Shen Yuan by spending a ton of money on her. The problem? That's way more money than he actually has. His credit card can't even handle it. At that moment, Shen Yuan speaks up, telling the saleswoman he wants both bags that Manhwa picked plus the accessories. The clown couple turns around in shock, and Manhwa is stunned. He's really about to spend that much. The store clerk knows he's the new bankrupt guy and is certain he can't afford it. She starts calculating the total, hands shaking, afraid to even say the number. But before she can, Shen Yuan already handed her the card. "Just ring it up." The saleswoman is thrilled. This commission is going to be amazing. Meanwhile, Wanting is standing there fuming, wondering, how the hell is he not bankrupt? And the old man is muttering that he must have borrowed money. But our Jika Chad just smirks and tells him, "Don't focus too much on my purchases. He should be worrying about making Wanting happy. Maybe even buy her another handbag. A wealthy and powerful man like him should be generous. He should spend at least 700,000 in this store. Otherwise, it'd be kind of weird." The bastard flipped the script. Now the two of them are shaking. Wanting turns to the old man, telling him, "Show me your financial power." The problem? The old man took out a huge loan just to rent that luxury car. He's not rich like that, so he's already making a phone call, trying to see if he can even afford this. Obviously, he just walks off pretending he has a very important meeting, while Wanting just glares at him, calling him the worst, and storms off. Both of them leave furious. Shen Yuan, however, he doesn't give a damn about them. He just played around because the system told him to, and because money is always good. Then he hands one of the handbags to Manhwa. She refuses, saying, "It's way too expensive." But he tells her it's a reward for putting up with all the nonsense Wanting and the clown were saying to her when she wasn't even involved in any of it. Then he hands her another bag, saying she deserves even more than this. She's a little confused though. She thought it was for his sister, but smooth as ever, he says. "Now that I think about it, I'm not sure if my sister will like it. But you picked it, so I know you like it." The truth, now that he unlocked the revenge system, he just wants to spend as much as possible and get all the money back. Manhwa, however, is afraid to accept it. She doesn't want to look like a gold digger. She starts pushing it back, saying, "I really can't." But he grabs her hands and tells her, "Don't worry, this is only the beginning. There are more gifts coming. And if you don't accept this one, I'm going to be very sad." And just like that, the mission is complete, and gets 3 times what he spent. Meanwhile, Manhwa is staring at him, thinking she just found the perfect money tree. To keep her from getting too scared, he tells her, "It's time to head back to school. If you buy anything more today, it'd be too much." Meanwhile, she's standing there silent, staring at him. As he climbs the stairs to his dorm, he walks past his old fake friends who are talking about throwing a party. The moment they see Shen Yuan, they say, "We're gonna turn the volume up real loud, so he can hear just how much fun we're having." Poor guy is just standing there, alone in front of his door. As soon as he enters the room, his friend tells him that bastard Zhangping apparently went out with the flower of the school and is bragging about it to everyone. Shen Yuan just tells his friend to calm down because that guy's days of glory are numbered. Manhwa was going to end up with him, not with that loser. His friend tells him to wake up. Manhwa and that guy went to the movies together. Our protagonist doesn't even bother explaining anything to this guy, instead thinking, it's time to go home and help out there. At his house, there's already the famous money-making uncle. Of course, that's Yod, welcoming him back. Shen Yuan just gives him a dry greeting, while his father tells him to rest a bit because the adults are discussing things. Obviously, he stays right behind the door, listening to everything. And Yod says he needs the full payment, otherwise he can't survive either. Wait a second, that's the protagonist's mother. Man, the artist is unstoppable. He spares no one. And she tells Yod, when he needed money to open his car wash business, they helped him. So it's wrong for him to be here acting like this. Her husband tries to calm her down, but she won't back down. She says, This guy went through hard times and we helped him. Yo responds that he's already being very patient because they're family. If it were anyone else, he would have kicked them out already. His mother starts losing her mind, going off on him, until a certain someone grabs her arm, telling her to calm down. Things would only get worse. Besides, they'd find a way to get the money. That's when the system kicks in. A perfect life cannot be disturbed by debt. All the money spent paying off his father's debts would be doubled, and he'd even get a bonus of 1 million just to spend on a car. For Shen Yuan, this was perfect. He was already planning to use his earnings to pay for this anyway. Meanwhile, his mother is holding onto some jewelry, family heirlooms passed down through generations, since it's the only way to pay the debt. What she doesn't know, though, Shen Yuan had already sold some of those jewels a while ago, just to buy presents for his girlfriends. At that moment, he opens his door and tells them, "There's no need to worry. I have the money." Neither of them believes him. They just tell him to stop joking around. This situation was too serious for him to be messing around. But our boy tells them he's not joking. He tells his father to check his phone notifications. The moment they look, there it was. 200,000 just dropped into his account. They demand to know where he got it from. And the smooth bastard as always, he says, "A long time ago, I bought some cryptocurrency. I forgot about it, but recently, when I needed money, I checked and saw it had gone up in value." His mother praises him, saying, "That's perfect. You saved the family." And right away, they turn to the uncle, telling him, "With this, the debt is paid. They had money now, so he better disappear." The uncle wants to say something, but his mother just tells him, "Get out." Kicked out of the house, the guy is lost. He came to collect whatever was left of this family, because he knew they were bankrupt and thought he'd never get paid. The real question now is, how did that bastard get so much money? Meanwhile, our boy just finished his mission. The 200,000 turned into 400,000, and he received the 1 million that could only be spent on a car. The problem? Of course, the only thing he paid off was the rent. There were still all the old company debts, which totaled hundreds of millions. For now, this was the best way to help. He needed to keep multiplying his money to pay off the bigger debts. He asks if his parents need more money. His mother says, "For now, no." The other bills weren't urgent. They could manage for a while. But his father, he's not so chill. He asks for at least 50,000 as a loan. Our boy just smiles, thinking, he's just like me when I used to ask for money. He remembers. His father used to be chilling in the mansion, reading a newspaper, while he would come home from school exhausted, asking for spare change. And now, tables have turned. The scene shifts back to the college where he runs into his teacher. This one, everybody pays extra attention in her class. He walks up and asks, "Are you free tonight?" He wants to invite her to a little dinner, but then he feels the death stare from behind. That's right, Meng's right there. She's not letting this slide. He realizes this woman is his nemesis, and the way she's glaring at him, hands on her hips, he decides to drop it. He just waves goodbye. "Oh wait, I just remembered I have to study. I'll be leaving now." Meng turns to Xiao and says, "See, this guy has bad intentions, even though you're his teacher." Meanwhile, Shen Yuan is thinking, "Man, I'm sweating like crazy. Running around all day submissive like this. Terrible." Back in the day, he was riding around in his Ferrari, hands on the wheel, handling important business. That's when he remembers. He received 1 million, only for buying a car. And right away he calls Manhua to join him on this adventure. Her friend immediately says, "If you're going back to the dorm for a one-on-one adventure, let me know, so I can leave." This friend really makes life easy for our boy. She's legendary. Manhua, however, tells her, "Don't say such nonsense. We're not together." But the friend insists. She's so lucky to have found a guy like this. She already knows what's going to happen between them. And just so you know, these censorships, they're not for me, okay? That's just how the story came. The artist is extremely talented, but he has limits on his creative expression on this platform. And now, at the car dealership, our boy arrives with Manhua, and the salesman immediately greets him. It looks like the simp knows Manhua and wants to know what she's doing there. She greets him. "Hey, Mr. Kim. This guy went to the same school as her and was always hitting on her, obviously. Not that I blame him." He walks up and wants to know, "Who's the loser standing next to her?" "Shen Yuan. Nice to meet you." Now the guy wants to know which car he's interested in. Shen Yuan says he wants to see the M9. "Man, if I'm not mistaken, that's a BMW." The salesman knows the car costs 600,000, and he's already dreading showing it to this broke kid, because he's sure he won't buy it. At the same time, it might be worth it, since he'd get to stare at Manhua the whole time. Maybe she finally realized he's an amazing salesman who makes over 10,000 a month. So he gets closer to chat with her, saying, "It's been a while since we talked." But Manhua, tall as ever, cuts him off. She tells him that unfortunately she has other plans and isn't very interested in talking. Before this clown can react, Shen Yuan calls out to him. He asks, "Can I take it for a test drive?" The guy is fuming. That bastard just interrupted his flirting session. To be honest, you were already rejected, man. Your flirting wasn't lasting long anyway. Shen Yuan may have been broke for a short while, but he's been rich for his entire life, and he's sick of this loser not treating him properly. So he goes straight to the reception desk and asks for someone who actually knows how to sell cars. Man, if she didn't show up to sell a car, I'd say she was prepared for other jobs, but let's move on. Her name? Chen Na, a top-tier salesperson at the dealership. She walks out asking, "How can I help you?" And our boy, he's standing there stunned. Fifi, the man got flashbanged by her beauty. Meanwhile, the original salesman is panicking. His coworker walks up and asks, "Why'd you leave that kid? You're gonna lose the sale." But the guy just shrugs. There's no way that broke kid is buying an M9. He's just showing off for the girl. Meanwhile, inside the car, Ken Ned is explaining everything to Shen Yuan. But our guy, he's not listening to a word. Because, even compared to Manhwa, this girl is dangerous. The problem? He knows that some female salespeople at car dealerships sometimes sleep with customers just to hit their sales targets. So he's not interested. Chenna asks, "So do you like the details of the car?" But he just says, "I don't really care. I just want to know you have one available right now, because I want to drive it home." She's confused. Most guys want to test drive like 36 different cars and spend hours before making a decision. She apologizes, saying, "Right now, we don't have one here. Cody can call another dealership and bring one in this week." Shen Yuan says, "That's fine, but make it as fast as possible." She tells him, "To speed up the process, you need to leave a 50,000 deposit." He tells her, "Don't worry about it." And just like that, she's already walking down the hall. While the clown salesman wants to know how the sale went, she simply says, "It was easy. He bought it." Another salesman overhears and freaks out. "Impossible. You only talked to him for 2 minutes." Meanwhile, Minhui's simp is convinced. That guy's a fraud. As soon as it's time to actually pay, he'll disappear. But Chen Nan doesn't think so. She tells them, "I don't think that's the case. He said he's going to pay everything up front." And at that moment, the clown salesman realizes he really messed up. Meanwhile, Chen Na is already thanking our boy. She tells him, "If you ever need a ride or a favor, just send me a message." But Minhui, she's competitive. She quickly says, "No, he doesn't need your number. Besides, we're taking a taxi back." Kedna realizes she just made the girlfriend mad and gets awkward. Out on the streets, Shen Yuan asks Minhui if she wants to grab something to eat. But he notices she's a little annoyed, and he's sure she's jealous. He tells her to let it go. That was just a customer-saleswoman relationship. But Minhui says, "I'm not so sure about that. You look really happy talking about the car details." Shen Yuan apologizes, saying it's just a habit of his to pay close attention to what people say, which is a total lie, by the way, since he didn't listen to a single word. And that's when Minhui realizes she's acting like a crazy person. She doesn't even have anything official with him, so there's no reason to be jealous. But she knows his big spender style attracts attention, so she needs to lock him down. I don't know what karate technique she's going to use to immobilize him, but she's determined. Meanwhile, our boy tells her, "Let's grab some food, then we'll go to the mall to buy some presents." But she says, "No need. You already spent a ton on me yesterday. I don't need that much stuff." But our boy, he plays this psychological card. He tells her, "You can't go out 7 days in a row with the same bags. You need at least one for each day of the week." Besides, spending money on her was great, because it raised affinity and doubled his money. At the restaurant, he asks her, "Do you want something hot or cold to drink?" She freezes. She wants to know, is this bastard asking if she's on her period? Apparently in some Chinese game, if you ask this question, and she chooses hot, it means she's on her period. If she chooses cold, it means the coast is clear. She says, "I'll have a cold drink." Seems like that's exactly what he wanted to know, because he says, "Well, I'll have to be more direct. I've been holding back for 2 months, and it's time to let it out." A while later, walking through the city, he's already spent a fortune. Bags, pendants, necklaces, everything. And Minhui is just standing there thinking, he's too nice. He's already spent 80,000 on me in just a few days. What our boy? He's already got 2 million in his account, since he spent all that money on the car, and she liked it. He got 1.6 million back, and he's straight to the point. He tells her, maybe tonight isn't a good night to go back to the dorm. And if he's ready to play, she's ready to score. She gives him a little smirk. 30 minutes later, in room 888, our boy is in the shower. Meanwhile, she has no idea how she's gonna explain to her friend why she's not coming back. Shen Yuan is American bro. He walks in and says, "It's time for football," and he's going for the touchdown. Man, 30 minutes have passed. This guy is a demigod. He lasted that long. And Shen Yuan says, "That was a great match. Unfortunately, you were also a top-tier player. Now I'm a little exhausted." But she's got energy for days. She tells him, it's time to start the second half. Our boy begs, "Can I get 30 minutes? Too late. Next morning. Look at that bastard's smile. After all the spending he's done, he's now got 2.5 million in his account. His friend wants to know, Where the hell were you? Why didn't you come back to the dorm? And at the same time, he shows him. That bastard Zhangping just bought a new car, and he's showing off to everyone. Shen Yuan just shrugs. That guy is adorable and tries to flex on people, but I couldn't care less about his car. Someone calls him over for some drinks, and the system speaks up. A perfect life isn't just about admiration from the opposite sex. He also needs to be successful in business. He gets 1 million to invest. What? He has to spend all of it in 1 week. And any profits he makes from his business ventures, they'll be doubled. To be honest, that's dope. A system that was just this would already be amazing. But okay, let's move on. Our boy likes this mission because he actually wanted to create a legitimate source of income, so he wouldn't have to keep spending money on gifts. He's not a fan of simping. It's just that, unfortunately, he had no other option. The guy who invited him for drinks is named Lai Yuhan. Looks like an old friend. Meanwhile, in the Dragon's private bar, a dude in a Hawaiian shirt, Lin Guangyou, is complaining. Who are we waiting for? I'm starving. The guy in a suit, Heiji, tells him. The important people are on their way. The guy with the backward cap agrees. That's when Yuan, the guy who invited Shen Yuan, tells them to calm down. Just wait a little longer. Shen Yuan is on his way. But Guangyou scoffs. That guy shouldn't even come. His family went bankrupt, so why is he even showing up? Yumeng tells him, mind your own business. I'm covering everything tonight, so just keep your mouth shut. Take that L, clown. You think you can talk just because you've got a girl with factory airbags. Man, thank God her speech bubble isn't as big as her chest, because she's already complaining. Saying this Guangyou guy keeps grabbing her, but he won't even date her for real. Meanwhile, they ask, what about Heiji's girlfriend? He says, she'll be here in 10 minutes. But Guangyou, he hates that bastard Heiji, because apparently, his girlfriend is top tier. And bro, just by looking at those tights, we already know who she is. Shen Yuan finally arrives, and he makes sure to wear ragged clothes. Looking homeless, he apologizes for being late, and Yuhang just lost. No worries, there are some bad drivers out there. But Guangyou, he throws a little jab. If you met a personal driver, that wouldn't happen. And that's when she appears. That's right, the car dealership girl. Our beloved Chen Ma. She apologizes for being late. Heiji smirks. These clowns don't know how to compete. He may not have money anymore, but he has the best girlfriend. Too bad for him, though, because his girlfriend is already checking out our boy Shen Yuan. She remembers his face very well. After all, he bought that car, but she ignores him and goes straight to her boyfriend. At least she's loyal. A while later, Yuan explains. He invited everyone here for an investment opportunity. It's going to be huge. He needs to raise 2.4 million, so he's expecting around 700,000 from each person. Awkwardly, he asks, so, what do you guys think? You bastard. You're asking for 700,000. Can you at least explain why, you damn scammer? Apparently, his friends already know him, because he always makes bad investments. But since he usually uses his dad's money, nobody really cares. This time, though, nobody wants to invest with this lunatic. The room is dead silent, and Yuhang is pissed. When he covers most of an investment, everyone wants to join in. But now that it's an equal share, they're all backing out. And he asks, why is it so quiet? Nobody has anything to say. Guangyou speaks up. I'm not investing right now. I'm focusing on saving money. I want to play it safe. Everyone else says the same thing. They can't afford to lose money. Taking a risk is too dangerous. The basketball jersey guys in the corner, they're pissed that he's offering such a bad deal. Meanwhile, Yuhang knows. This time, his money-making plan is solid. Too bad nobody trusts him. Guangyou then says, but if you want to borrow money, that's a different story. Of course, scumbag. Because if the investment works out, you still win. If things go south, you just get your money back. Damn, even I want to do this. Just kidding. I don't have money for that. Shen Yuan is standing there wondering why Yuhang still deals with these guys. They're just a bunch of parasites. So he asks, what do I get if I invest at 700,000? The room goes silent. Guangyou turns to him. Stop making things up. Everyone knows your family is broke. The guy in the cap even puts his hand on his shoulder. Dude, just go to the bathroom and wash your face. You must be drunk without even drinking. Heiji tries to explain. In business, things are complicated. You're young, so you don't understand. But that 700,000, it could disappear. While everyone is doubting our boy, in the back of the room, Chen Ne is watching. She remembers that yesterday, he spent 600,000 on a car, without hesitation. So maybe 700,000 isn't crazy for him. But she decides to stay quiet. She barely knows him and doesn't want to get involved. But our boy, he doesn't wait for an answer. He just says, I already transferred 700,000. Yuva immediately checks his phone, and his screen lights up like a stadium floodlight. There it is, the transaction notification. He shows it to Guangyou. Take a look. The soul nearly leaves his body. He starts trembling. Meanwhile, the towering Chen No wants to know, why is everyone's face changing? Even the viewers are noticing. Now the whole room gets up. demanding Guangyo explain what just happened. Even Heiji is curious now, but Guangyo refuses to add to Shen Yuan's hype. He just tells them, figure it out yourselves. But deep inside, he wants to know why the hell that bastard pulled out that kind of money. That's when Zhao Zheng, the cap guy, walks over. He sees everyone acting weird and asks, what's going on? Next frame, he's already leaving saying, oh, I just remember I have something to do at home. One by one, everyone starts leaving. See you next time. Heiji is confused. Why is everyone leaving? But Chen Men just says, we're leaving too. And she's already outside. Her boyfriend tells her, there was no reason for you to leave. He doesn't even know if the guy really transferred the money. And that's when she reveals. Yesterday he came to the dealership and bought a car in cash. Suddenly the boyfriend is angry. Not at Shen Yuan, but at his girlfriend for not telling him the guy was rich. Looks like the game is changing, huh? And she's pissed. You're mad at me because I didn't tell you he was rich? Well, goodbye. If all you care about is some rich guy, then I'm out. Now it's just the two of them. Yuvang sighs. If I knew you were gonna invest everything, I wouldn't have called those guys. But Shen Yuan says, it was a good way to prove they're not trustworthy. Now he wants to know, what's the plan for this business? Even though he's just an investor, he wants to discuss the strategy. Yeah, it's obvious now. They're opening a bar. They start talking about the theme, the operations, the decor, everything. An hour passes, and Chen Mes sends him a message. Come pick up your car tomorrow. But our boy says, no rush. Then he asks, are you free tomorrow? Because I'm really curious about that BMW M9. She's confused. What's with this sudden interest in the M9? Before she can reply, he sends another message. See you at the restaurant tomorrow. Next day, she's at the meeting spot, wearing her work uniform, which honestly looks more like a costume. Shen Yuan hasn't arrived yet, and she's been waiting for a while, with some random guy next to her. That's when a chubby, bald dude walks by. He recognizes her immediately and heads straight for her. He's never had a chance to hit on her before, but this is the perfect opportunity. His friends outside are watching, wondering if he'll actually pull it off. But most of them say, no way. Chenna isn't that type of woman. She's serious. Most guys who tried failed. And damn, one of those clowns, it's Heiji, the simp boyfriend, who wants to know who the hell she's waiting for. Meanwhile, the chubby guy walks up to Chenna and asks, mind if I join you? She instantly refuses. No, thanks. I'm waiting for a friend. The guy thinks she's just playing hard to get. He says, I'm your superior, so you should show more respect. We're eating together today. But she tells him, step back. It'd be better if we didn't have any relationship at all. And then, this bastard goes straight to the point. Don't worry. If the problem is my family, I'll get a divorce. Damn, this woman must be something else. Meanwhile, Heiji is watching from a distance. He wasn't with his friends. He just overheard the conversation. And now that he sees the chubby guy talking to her, he storms over their table and flips out. You traitors. You've been deceiving me behind my back. Before the chubby boss can say anything, Heiji throws a punch right to his face. The boss stands up, furious, and a full-on brawl breaks out. Meanwhile, Shen Yuan finally arrives, looking completely confused. As soon as our boy arrived, he immediately understood what was going on, and he just thanks the chubby guy for sitting next to her and taking Heiji's punch for him. With that, he grabs Chenna's little hands and says, it's better if we go somewhere a little more private. Inside the car, she tells him she was with Heiji for 2 weeks, but she already realized he's not a good person. Shen Yuan tells her, well, at least everything's settled now. But she shakes her head. No, that's not the case. Heiji punched her boss in the face, so now she's definitely going to be treated worse at work. He tells her, just quit that horrible job and find a better place. But she explains, in my profession, it's not easy to just switch dealerships. Not to mention, I've built a client base over the years and I'd lose all of them. The truth is, she's tired of working as a saleswoman. She wants to own a simple store, where she can work when she feels good and close when she's tired. The problem? Even opening a small cafe costs $400,000, and she knows she'll never save up that much. Our boy, who needs to invest money, sees the perfect opportunity. So he asks, if an investor showed up, would you be willing to open one? Because from the $1 million he has for investments, he still has $300,000 left. If you put in $100,000, that'd be enough to make it happen. She pauses. If that were possible, I'd quit my job immediately. Our boy smiles. Then you can resign tomorrow and work for me. Boom. A little heart symbol pops up. 64 affinity. She's red as a tomato. While he's thinking, another money tree just appeared out of nowhere. Flustered, she tells him, stop joking. But he tells her, I'm serious. So, do you want to work for me or not? If you manage the cafe, you'll get $12,000 a month plus some bonuses. And as an incentive, if the cafe does well in the first 2 months, I'll give you a $200,000 car. Damn, this guy is spending all his bonuses. At least he's smart about it. She has no idea why someone would invest so much money out of nowhere, unless he's trying to keep her all to himself. However, she's a respectable woman and thinks she can't put herself in a situation where she'd be dependent on him. Even more so considering she'd be the third in the relationship, so she says thanks but no thanks. Shen Yuan understands why she's refusing and tells her not to worry. He was already planning on spending some money on an investment, and besides, their relationship would just be boss and employee. She says she understands but needs some time to think. Then he gets a message from Manhwa saying she's in the mood for some iced tea. Now I already know what that means, and he's impressed that this girl has infinite energy. So he says yes, they can have some tea, but please take it easy. As soon as he returns to little room 808, she gives him a happy hug. But right then, she smells another woman's scent. He says that's impossible, but he knows that since he spent that time in the car with that woman, her perfume lingered on him. Oh man, the fun's over. She pushed him away. But he lies, saying he didn't feel a thing, and just hugs her back, saying his eyes are only for her. He explains he was just there dealing with the car paperwork and ended up near those girls who were selling, and the perfume stuck to him, but nothing happened. Manhwa says she understands, but if he's going to see any other woman in any situation, he better tell her. He says he got it, but honestly, the guy doesn't care about that. His goal is to grow multiple money trees, especially since he needs to spend a lot. And with that, the soccer match was about to start. Ball in the field, and it's a goal, man, it's over. 2 hours later. 2 hours? This guy has transcended man, Doctor Strange style, and is manipulating time and space to last that long. His little heart is already at 90, bro. And just like our boy Shen Yuan from the other story, this Shen Yuan also gets something when his affection reaches 90. A lottery ticket worth 1 million, a voucher to spend 1 million, and a new skill called Ruthless. A spending ticket worth 1 million, and a new skill called Ruthless. The money was more than welcome since he still had millions of family debts to pay. But what really caught his interest was this Ruthless skill. The description said, with this skill, he'd be able to master anything. So if he walks out into the hallway to activate it, a peculiar glow appears. He thought it would make him ruthless in combat, but actually, it made him ruthless in other activities, and now he's heading back to the field. Ruthless mode activated. Poor Manhwa was the first victim of the new skill. Meanwhile, Chen Yuan is talking to a friend about a guy who offered her 300,000 to open a store. Her friend warns her, be careful. It's rare for a guy to invest that much money. You might be getting scammed. But Chen Yuan confidently replies, no, I'm sure he has money. I saw him spend almost 1.5 million in 2 days. Besides, at least he's cute. Unlike the old men at the car dealership, her friend finds it hard to believe. You found a guy who's young and handsome, and he wants to invest 300,000 in you. If that's the case, you should definitely accept. But Chen Yuan sighs, there's one problem. He's 5 years younger than me. It just feels weird. Apparently, there's a Chinese saying, if a woman marries a man 3 years younger, she's holding onto a gold bar. So if he's 5 or 6 years younger, she's holding 2 gold bars. Who comes up with these sayings? She tries to refuse. The boy already has a girlfriend. But her friend, like all female friends in these stories, either the worst or the best. She just lost. A girlfriend isn't a wife. With those conditions, you have to steal him away. Poor Chen Yuan is shocked. Her friend tells her, relax, I'm just joking. But seriously, don't miss this opportunity. With that, she says goodbye. Meanwhile, Chen Yuan is now imagining Shen Yuan by her window. 40 minutes later, Manhwa is shaken. She tells him, there's something different about you. But she's too embarrassed to explain. So he calls for another match. But she tells him, impossible. Enough, I'm done. But since she didn't show mercy earlier, now it's his turn. He tells her, if you can't keep up, you just need more practice. Next day, after Manhwa goes back to school, Shen Yuan wakes up and checks his lottery ticket. The members match. He won 6.8 million. He immediately jumps up, desperate to run home and tell his parents. By the way, we still haven't seen his sister. Huh, doesn't he have a sister? She'll show up eventually. I know he's a menace. A few moments later, he rushes home, calling for his mother. She yells, stop shouting like a lunatic. You're waking up the neighbors. But he already pulled his dad over too. I have good news for both of you. He shows them the ticket. I just won 6 million. His mother, of course, responds, is school messing with your head? Are you going crazy? But he tells them, just look at the numbers and check the phone. His father checks the winning numbers and nearly has a heart attack. His mother has a full-on collapse. He tells them, even after paying the 20% tax, I'll still have 5 million. With that, they can start paying off the debts. Life is finally going to get better. He'll just take a small portion for investments because he still needs to make money. His father tells him, that's fine. All I want is for you to not lose it all. Shen Yuan tells them, I'll take 1 million for myself and leave 4 million for you. I thought they'd be super happy or shocked, but they just calmly thank him. Meanwhile, at the car dealership, the chubby boss who got beaten up asks Chen Yuan, what the hell is this on my face? But Chen Na, standing there in her work uniform, doesn't care. She already broke up with that guy. Besides, if Heiji punched him, that's a problem between the two of them. Her boss, however, won't let her off the hook so easily. He says, every problem has its roots, and in this case, the root is you. He realized, his damn woman is trying to walk away without facing any consequences, so he has to get revenge. She insists, the fight between you two has nothing to do with me. Besides, you wouldn't have gotten punched if you hadn't sat next to me. Her boss then says, all right then, for not showing up to work yesterday, you don't have to show up for a whole month. Confused, Chen Na tells him, but I asked for permission to be absent, but he just shrugs. I don't care. I own this dealership. I decide who works here and who doesn't. You're banned from selling anything for a month. He knows. If she loses her job, she loses all of her commission. And with only 1,200, she won't even be able to pay rent. At that moment, Chen Na turns around and says, if that's the case, I'll quit. I'm never coming back to this place. The clown boss tells her, you should think carefully. If you leave, you can't come back. But she's already walking away. Swag mode activated. At least working for Shen Yuan would be better. At least he's not an old man. She waves goodbye. No need to think about it. I'm never stepping foot in this place again. 30 minutes later, Shen Yuan receives a message. She's ready to quit. He congratulates her. Took you long enough to escape hell. Now I just need to find a good location for the store. Now he's off to visit his teacher, a very hard-working woman. She's struggling to lift a heavy box from the floor. Damn, that looks painful. Looks like she called him specifically for Thiz, to help her lift the box. Now she's trying to reach another one, but it's too high up. She can't reach. Don't worry, teacher. The hero has arrived. Obviously, this kind of behavior could get him thrown in jail. And she realizes, this student is peculiar. As always, he gets real close. Does he actually have those kinds of feelings? She even asks him, did you get the papers? He nods. Yeah, I got them. But then, some other students show up. They say, we're here to help the teacher. But when they walk into the room, they don't understand why her face is red as a tomato. She steps to the side, while Shen Yuan explains the help she needed. Meanwhile, Xiao realizes, his damn Shen Yuan is getting bolder and bolder. He's pulling these moves even at school. The problem is, her heart just skipped a beat, but he's her student. She can't be thinking like this. Haha, too bad for her. He's got the affinity system, and he noticed increased. Looks like that little favor was deeply appreciated. The scene shifts to the south side near the school. These are the villains. And the girl on the left? She has that good and bad kind of evil look. They're talking to Zhangping, that guy who bought a car and now acts like he's better than everyone else. Oh yeah, the clown who walks around in his little Gucci outfit. He's mad, because Manhwa rejected everything he tried. She's completely ignoring him, but it's fine. He's got plenty of options. He says, not every girl appreciates my new car. And the girl's gasped. That car is so expensive. Your family must be billionaires. But Zhangping nearly spits out his tea, because he sees someone familiar. And as always, it's Chen Na, walking around, dressed more like a fantasy character than a real person. The guy comments, her legs are so long, they're usable all year round. Meanwhile, outside they're looking at a brand new car, the M9. And honestly, it might not even be a BMW. It's probably some kind of advanced Chinese luxury car, or a high-tech Tesla-style vehicle. And the big boss is walking through the area. The girls recognize him instantly, the famous Shen Yuan, the newly broke guy. But why was he in that car? That's exactly what the clown Zhangping wants to know. At that moment, our boy walks into the cafe, and Chen Na immediately greets him. Hey there, boss. Zhangping is standing there, mouth wide open. He wants to know, why is that goddess talking to that broke loser? Meanwhile, Shen Na tells him, the owner of the cafe just messaged me. She's on her way. She asks, so, do you like the car? Shen Yuan shrugs. It's not bad. The dangerous villain girl smirks. There's something peculiar about Shen Yuan's interaction with that girl, and Zhangping is losing it. How the hell does he go from dating one in one day to being with someone even hotter the next? At that moment, the cafe owner arrives. To be honest, she's the skinniest of the women so far. Not that skinny, but you get what I mean. Her name? Lai Yucheng. She greets our boy. You're so young. He replies, we're all around the same age. They're all about 20 or so. She explains, her cafe isn't doing well, but since it's near the school, a lot of students pass by. However, she has some issues at home and needs to take care of her child. That's why she wants to sell the place for 300,000. But our boy, he wants to keep 50,000 to cover Chen Na's salary. So he tells her, I don't like haggling. I'll give you 250,000. And that's it. Yucheng was hoping to get at least 270,000. But since he's paying up front and looks serious, she simply asks, can we finalize this today? He nods. The moment we sign the papers, the money will be in your account. Immediately, She calls the girls nearby and tells them to meet the new owner. Shen Yuan explains, Chen Na here is the new manager. I won't be around much. The girls nearby overhear the conversation, and the Hollywood tier villainous gasps. That bastard just bought a 250,000 cafe for his girlfriend in 10 seconds. Meanwhile, Zhang Bang's about to explode with rage. Just then, Yu Cheng gets a call. She stands up. I need to take this. And at that moment, Chen Na sees the name on the phone. Her face freezes. Because it's him. The man who fired her from the dealership. That scumbag owns half the world, huh? Shen Yuan is pissed. That bastard has a hot wife at home and still flirts with all the girls at work. Truly a despicable man. Shen Yuan wants to tell Yu Cheng what kind of man her husband is, but she doesn't want to ruin their relationship. He warns her, it's better if you don't get too involved. She asks, why? He explains, you're about to let a 40-year-old man with too much money loose and without a family. That's dangerous. You never know what he'll do. She pauses and thanks him for the advice. She hadn't thought about it like that, and he was right. That guy might actually become a problem. Meanwhile, Shen Yuan transfers the 50,000 salary and tells her, I'm looking forward to seeing how the first week goes. With that, our boy had officially spent his first million and became a junior investor. Man, I want to be a junior investor too. What is this, bro? But the system is unstoppable. Now, he gets 10 million to invest and expand industries. Once he spends it all, the profits from these new businesses will be tripled. And on top of that, once he spends the 10 million, he'll receive a mystery industry. A little while later, Yu Cheng comes back to thank him. She tells him, I'm heading out. It was nice doing business with you. Our boy shakes her hand, and his mind goes, damn, her hands are so soft. It's like she doesn't even have bones. Now he's already imagining how a football match would go with her. He tells her, it was nice working with you. I'm looking forward to seeing you again. 30 minutes later, he's taken Chen Na to a restaurant. Of course, just to eat, right? She tells him, this place is really expensive. Do you come here often? Our boy shakes his head. Nah, but today's a day to celebrate. He finds himself staring at her, thinking, she's irresistible. This guy is unstoppable. He goes for the attack. Why are you sitting so far away? You could sit a little closer. Our boy is a magician, because she was on the other side of the table, and now she's right next to him. 3-meter arms like Majin Buu. And our boy is thinking, I just spent 300,000 to open this cafe for her, and I'm paying her 12,000 a month. I need to get some extra profit out of this. Meanwhile, Chen Na is thinking, there's no such thing as love or generosity without reason in this world. So why does he really want to open this cafe? Does he actually want to make money from it? That wouldn't make sense, considering everything he buys. Meanwhile, Shen Yuan, the hardworking man, has both hands on the watermelons, and Chen Na, she realizes, that's all she really has to offer. She tells him to back off. The waitresses could walk in at any moment, but he explains, the food here doesn't come out that fast. It'll take a while. 10 minutes later, a woman at the door says, they're getting everything ready. Ken Na, flustered, quickly replies, Jay, just bring it over. Our boy smirks. This place serves some amazing food. Well, yeah, he was rich his entire life. He already knows everything about this town. And Chen Na thinks to herself, he's handsome, and he definitely has money. But the problem is, he's a shameless bastard, especially since he already knows he has another gorgeous woman by his side. So why does he act like this? It was honestly embarrassing. But now, it was too late to think about it. At the checkout, as always, our boy pays calmly. After all, the money will be doubled. Meanwhile, Chen Na realizes what he just spent on this dinner is the same amount she'd make from selling a luxury car. As they step outside, she tells him, I want to go back to the cafe. I need to talk to the owner. But he tells her, it's too late for that. She's probably closing up shop. You'll just be bothering her. She sighs. Yeah, I guess you're right. Then just take me home. Oh boy, we already know what's about to happen. They arrive at her apartment complex. She waves goodbye, but our boy says, I'm really thirsty. That walk made me crave a drink of water. She's not naive though. She tells him, that water you're talking about, it's not appropriate. Our boy, confused, asks, what? Is there a guy in your house? She rolls her eyes. Obviously not. I broke up with Heiji. He nods. So what's the problem with letting me have some water? She pauses. Are you really just going to drink some water and leave? He nods. Of course. But in her mind, she already knows. That's not going to happen. Inside the apartment, the football field is set up, and the goal is wide open. Meanwhile, Heiji is downstairs, holding flowers. Oh, buddy, don't do this. You already lost. He knocks on the door, but instead of a response, he hears a peculiar sound. His expression freezes. He starts banging on the door. Who the hell is in there? Inside, our boy is furious. That bastard dumped her. So why is he here interrupting the game? Ken Ma tells him, wait, there's someone at the door. But Shen Yuan smirks. I've got good ears. That's the neighbor's door. And just like that, he carries her away. Meanwhile, on the other side, Heiji is devastated. He heard everything. He collapses to the floor. She was devoured. I have no chance anymore. After a few more matches, it's now the next morning. She wakes up first and heads to the kitchen to cook. What a kind woman. Our boy wakes up to the smell and loves it. Waking up in a woman's house is so much better than waking up in a hotel. And then, the system speaks. A perfect life requires a home. If a man wants to take care of himself and take care of the women who visit, he must own property. This system is even worse than him. So, he must buy a 100 square meter home for Chen Yuan within the next 24 hours. The good news? Every money he spends will be doubled, and he'll receive a mystery property as a bonus. For him, it's perfect as always. Now he wants a house with a pool, so he can have all of them swimming while he relaxes. Chen Yuan calls him over for breakfast. But our boy is already thinking, what reward will he get when she reaches 90 affinity? So, he gives her a hug. She jumps in surprise. Then he whispers, as a gift for last night, I'll buy you a house. She freezes. She thought that after everything last night, he wouldn't be buying her anything else. She assumed he already got what he wanted. He kisses her cheek. What's wrong? Why aren't you responding? She sighs. Money doesn't grow on trees, you know. But for our boy, it kind of does. His money literally comes out of nowhere. He pulls her in for a tight hug. There's nothing wrong with buying a house for my woman. He's also a little worried. Last night was way too noisy. The neighbors definitely heard. So, they need to move. Chen Yuan then tells him, a friend wanted to meet me at the cafe. She wanted to see the place. And after that, we can go look at houses. But Shen Yuan shakes his head. No way. House shopping takes time. There's paperwork and everything. I don't want to spend the whole day looking. So, she immediately messages her friend, telling her she'll see her at night instead. Meanwhile, her friend Kanchin is wearing a red cap. She's with another girl, Menglu, a tall, purple-haired fitness trainer. Menglu is confused. Kanchin says, maybe the cafe deal didn't work out. No way a guy just spends 300,000 like that. But Menglu disagrees. Chen Yuan wouldn't lie about something like that. Then, Kanchin gets a message. She reads it out loud and screams. He's BYing her a Hewis in the rearview mirror. Menglu almost faints. There's a huge difference between a guy who buys bags and a guy who buys houses. She immediately decides, I need to take advantage of this too. She tells Kanchin, ask her where they're looking at houses. We should go check it out. Kanchin nods. All right, I'll ask her. 40 minutes later, they arrive at the TNG real estate district. As soon as they get there, Chen Yuan is shocked because even the most basic houses here cost millions. And just like that, Kanchin spots them. She walks up. It's been so long since we last met. She reaches out her hand. I missed you. And just like that, the girls are ready to be introduced. Kanchin grins. This is my good friend, Manhwa. Then she introduces. Meet Menglu and Ruda. Menglu, meanwhile, looks like a contortionist. She's twisting like she's in Game of Thrones, bending up and down, throwing something over her shoulder. And then, she goes straight for the attack. You've had good body, but you should come to my gym and sweat a little. Peculiar. But our boy, he's even worse than her. He smirks. If I go to your gym, it'll be hard to focus on the workout. She immediately realizes he just flirted with her, right in front of Chen Yuan, which means the two of them are not a couple. Meanwhile, she notices Chen Yuan's bruised knee. She played too much football last night. Then, Kanchin jumps in. When you're ready to change cars, I know a great place to buy Ferraris. Our boy just smiles. Thanks. He barely met these two, and their heart levels are already 68 and 67. At this moment, he realizes these two aren't exactly good friends to Chen Yuan. But for him, it doesn't matter. All he wants is a bunch of women with an affinity score above 60. The three girls walk with him through the luxury real estate district, and the poor husbands who see them want to kill this bastard. He's walking around with three goddesses, buying a house like it's nothing. This is truly the perfect life. A real estate agent approaches. She asks, would you like to see some initial models? The price here is 15,000 per square meter. She's about to explain, but our boy cuts her off. I came here to spend 3 million. So tell me, what can I get for that? At that moment, the woman nods and takes him to the VIP section. This area has professional recommendations. Meanwhile, the other girls are stunned. What kind of quadrillionaire just drops 3 million like it's pocket change? And of course, this just makes Menglu even more determined. A little later, they're sitting on a luxury couch. The agent recommends a 165 square meter home for 2.9 million. Chen Yuan grabs his arm. Don't buy this. This is way too expensive. But as always, he's got his hands on what really matters. He reassures her. Don't worry. All I want is a comfortable home. The other girls are jealous. Here's Chen Yuan, trying to make him spend less. And there he is, loyal to the cause, a true man. But he knows, if he doesn't negotiate, everyone will think he's a fool. After all, this is China. If you don't bargain until the end, it's not even about being rich or poor. It's about not being an idiot. Why aren't you haggling? Are you stupid? So at that moment, he tells the manager, let's talk discounts. He knows she has the power to negotiate. She asks, are you really ready to make a decision today? If that's the case, I can ask for an amazing deal. But he shakes his head. Instead of a discount, I want extra parking spaces. Because at this rate, he's going to be investing a lot into this home. Meanwhile, Mengla refuses to give up. She's flipping her hair left and right, throwing smiles all over the place. Our boy is watching, thinking, is this girl mentally unstable? But then, she makes a peculiar movement, and suddenly, he understands. She's playing the game. He's actually impressed. This damn woman knows exactly what she's doing. But now's not the time to be thinking about that. He's here to finalize a contract for a $3 million house.
Half an hour later, all the discounts were finally being calculated, and the total amount for the house, along with 2 parking spaces, came to $2.98 million. The lady gave the boy the contract, telling him to sign, while Chen was still not able to believe that she had a full-blown house which costed so much. On the other hand, both the so-called best friends were getting jealous by the fact that Shen casually brought a $3 million luxury house for Chen. And the key part in all this was that he only put Chen's name on the contract. Meng wondered about when this kind of God-tier blessing will ever land on her instead. But instead of getting fully robbed of his balance, Shen got a notification from his bank that he got a deposit of $15 million, and his current balance was over $15.3 billion. Shen immediately realized that even when they were a rich family, his father did not have this much saving, and the system had even crossed his dad now. He was thanking Chen because if it weren't for her triggering the mission, then he would not have suddenly become a multimillionaire. For him, developing more female NPCs is the real way to go. But suddenly, Shen was going to get even more happy because the system congratulated him for receiving a green city villa, which was the second reward for completing the mission. The system told the boy to collect it at the sales office on the next day at 9 o'clock in the morning. Shen realized that it was a luxury villa, and it was one of the top 10 supermansions in Star City, which was really amazing. Meanwhile, the real estate agent was getting really impressed by the fact that even when the market was not doing well right now, Mr. Shen can pay in full to buy a house for his woman, and it's clear that they were not even married, or maybe not even a couple. The lady wished that even she could latch on to someone like this. But then she got back to work, giving Shen her phone and telling him, the contract has been signed. So she was going to handle the other paperwork with Chen. But still, the lady wanted Chen to add her onto the socials, so that if Shen ever had any future property needs, he can contact her without any worries. The boy immediately agreed after looking at the lady's favor points. But for Meng, it was really a nightmare, because someone was trying to snatch the piece of her cake instead. The lady got up with lightning speed and started screaming at Shen, telling him that she was planning to buy a small apartment soon, and whenever the time comes, she also needed some experienced guidance from the boy himself. And added to that, the lady told him that if the boy ever had any health needs, he can contact Meng as well. After the purchase was finished, Shen told Chen that he had other things to do in the afternoon, so he would not be able to join the ladies, and decided to leave the 3 best friends for continuing their reunion, and whether they wanted to go for a meal or to the cafe was up to them. Chen was really happy, while she let Shen go and do his work. But for Meng, it was really shocking, because the boy was just leaving without even staying for a meal. She thought that maybe her body was not good enough to please the boy, and it was not making sense to her. But Chen called out to the fake friends, telling them that they will have to find a place to eat first, and then they can go to the cafe together and have a tour. Quan was really jealous while putting up a fake smile, telling Chen that she will have to treat them on the day because now she was worth $3 million. Meng did not even want to smile, but was somehow able to do it with an obvious fake look. Half an hour later, we see that Shen was back at school while he saw teacher Li, who was eating in the cafeteria alone, which was surprising for the boy. Even when Li was eating alone, she was not getting free time due to the constant calls, while she told the person on the other side of the call that she will prepare the materials for the work in a bit, and the report should be ready by the next day. She talked to the person about the University of Science and Technology, agriculture, business schools to have a lower base. The person on the other side of the phone was trying to hit on the lady, while she was constantly denying telling the man that she really had something going on. We come to know that the person was none other than the school secretary, who was trying to hit on the lady, but she denied and cut the call. And knowing that the lady was finally free, Shen asked his teacher about what was wrong. She started explaining that the school was setting up a university entrepreneurship base, and she was a part of the team, and they were discussing about it on the phone. The school was planning to support students with entrepreneurial ideas by providing funding, venues, and business guidance. But they have run into some difficulties, and the funds were not enough, so they needed to collaborate with external enterprises. Shan wondered about the conditions that the school can offer to the companies. But the only thing that the school can do is supply them with enough talents, and they sign contracts with the companies and send them high-quality graduates on a regular basis. But according to Shen, it was really a weak selling point, because their school's graduates cannot compete with those from top-tier universities. Teacher Li slammed her fist onto the table, knowing that Shen was exactly right. But she knew that if companies don't get what they want, they are naturally declining to invest onto the project. But the lady was even more frustrated by another fact that even when she was just an university lecturer, the secretary still wants her to drink with business executives to secure funding. And it was not just some mere drinking and may involve something bad. Seeing how troubled the teacher looked to him, Shen wanted to invest in the program by himself, but he still needed to consider profitability. For any of such kind of project to make money, the student success rate needs to reach at least 33%. But Shen's school probably doesn't even hit 20%. Shen was just proposing the idea of the investment, but before he could speak even further, the teacher wanted to know if the boy was interested. Shen immediately replied that even when he had money, he was not that interested in the project. The lady smiled, telling Shen that even when the thought was good, the project hasn't been taken off yet, and it was going to be tough. But suddenly, the system notification popped up once again, telling the boy that a perfect life was not just about accumulating wealth, but it also requires enough prestige to make an impact on society. And since Chen was a university student, influence must expand from within the university. His mission was to gain prestige by investing in a campus project. And he will get rewarded for every 500 prestige points, granting a lottery chance with potential attribute boosts and even special abilities. Shen was shocked to see that even this conversation has triggered a mission, and he decided to invest in the school project now because the investment funds were given by the system. And now, he does not need to worry about profitability and just needed to gain prestige. Added to that, he will be helping the teacher solve an urgent problem, which would be advantageous in the long run. Shen realized a massive business opportunity and thought that if he decides who gets the funding and how much, it would be perfect to invest in the pretty senior and junior girls who were opening businesses. And by that, he will gain a lot of prestige points and increase his favorability among all the females. Shen asked the teacher about if an individual or company wants to invest, who will be the one to evaluate the students receiving the investment. Is it the investor or the school itself? Shen knew that he needed to confirm this thought before he invested his money, and the teacher explained that even when in theory the school should do the evaluations, they were not in the current situation to do so, and as they were not able to attract investors, there's a lot of room for negotiation. But the teacher wondered about why Shen was suddenly this interested, and hearing that, Shen just told the teacher that he wanted to invest, but he still had one condition. He wanted to evaluate the students himself, But before listening to the condition, the teacher wanted Shen to stop joking, because he had gone bankrupt and had even applied for some financial aid. Now, Shen was deciding to not hide showing his bank balance to the teacher, telling her to count the zeros. The lady was shocked to know that the boy had over 15 million in his bank, and when she asked the boy about how he got so much money, Shen just explained that he traded some electronic coins and foreign exchange stocks, and this had earned him a lot of money. This was unreal for her because her student was now actually a multi-millionaire. But suddenly, Shen shocked her even more, asking her about why she was not coming with the boy instead. And if this had ever happened, they can travel the world together, and the boy can make sure that the teacher will live a life full of luxury and bliss. Even when the lady told Shen to stop talking nonsense. She was really flustered, wondering about why she was getting offered all this all of a sudden. She wondered if Shen was really sure to invest in the project, because from what she knew, university entrepreneurship bases rarely turn a profit. The lady suggested Shen to think it over carefully, because this amount was not something trivial. Shen told the lady with a smile that he had already considered it, and his main goal is to contribute to his school's development. The lady realized that Shen was serious and wondered if he was serious when he wanted the lady to be with him too. Only thinking about that was making the lady have some bad and naughty thoughts. She was somehow able to control herself, thinking that Shen was just her student. To Shen's surprise, she got up and started running away from the table, while telling the boy that she will talk to the secretary about this later. Shen was smiling while he told the lady once again to consider his offer of her luxurious life, and the scene shifts to 4 o'clock in the evening, and we see that Chen had made a delicious coffee for our boy, posing in a cosplay outfit as a maid, offering coffee to her master. She wanted Shen to come to the coffee shop and try it when he was free. But the boy was now flirting with the lady, telling her that the coffee was not up to the mark, and she needed some proper training at the night as punishment. Meanwhile, the boy thought that even when the coffee might taste bad, but the outfit worn by the lady was really tempting. As the scene shifts, we have a look at another lady who was Shen's classmate from international trade named Kong. We come to know that Kong was having a crush on our boy, and her friend was trying to tell her that Shen was not a rich second-generation kid anymore, but instead, he's just a broke guy. The friend wondered about why. Kong was thinking about him every day when he probably has to work part-time just to save for his tuition. But just then, another one of Kong's friends came running, while telling the first one that she was also chatting and going on date with Huang, who was from Shen's dorm. Hearing that name, the girl was furious, telling her friend that even when she had rejected him so many times, he was not giving up, so she wanted to have just a free dinner at a good restaurant by his money. She started continuing to insult Shen, telling Kong that if she was with Huang, she gets a free meal. But if Kong is being stuck with Shen, she will just end up paying for everything by herself. So now the lady wanted Kong to think it through about if she really wanted to live with Shen, who was nothing but a poor loser. But suddenly, the other girl stopped the first one, telling her to keep it down because Shen was coming straight towards them. Looking at him, the lady thought that the boy was probably going to a part-time job, and as it was just past 3:00 p.m. This was the perfect time for restaurant's prep work. The other friend wanted Kong to ask Shen about the place he was working at so that they can have a bit of fun. But Kong was not really supporting this idea, telling the girls that it was really inappropriate, and as they were classmates, there's no need to make fun of the others. But the first girl was really getting cocky, asking Shen if he had been busy with part-time job, telling him that she wanted to come to the place and see about where he was working in the name of supporting him. But Shen immediately realized that the girl was looking down on him and decided that since Huang was the one chasing after the other girl, he would not bother arguing with her. But as he needed to vent a little, the first lady who was getting cocky seemed fun to him, so he decided to play along and told everyone that he was working part-time at a cafe nearby, asking the ladies if they wanted to come, so that he can offer some delicious coffee to them. All three of them agreed, and as the scene shifts, we come to the coffee shop, where both Chen and Meng were waiting for their boss to arrive. As soon as the girls entered the cafe, the first lady was not able to believe that such beautiful ladies existed with long legs and nice figure. They wondered if the girls were even real, because they were looking straight out of a manga. Even Kong knew from just one glance that the two girls standing beside the counter were seriously gorgeous and elegant, while the cocky lady realized that the other one had an insane body with a big chest, tiny waist, perky hips, which was almost non-existent in real life. Both Chen and Meng bowed towards the boy, welcoming him playfully, and Meng was not at all happy, looking at the boy and telling him that if he had something important to do, he should do just that and not roam around with his female classmates. Shen started explaining to the ladies that the girls wanted to grab a cup of coffee after getting off the verb. Both Chen and Meng looked at the girls and said hello, while Xiao came in and Shen told the worker to ask the three beauties about what they would like and to not give them the bill, as the bill was going to be paid by the boy himself. The worker immediately agreed and addressed Shen as the boss, and hearing that, all the three ladies become nervous, wondering about what it was. Meanwhile, the worker told them to have a seat and browse the catalog, and then let her know when they have made their choice. The girls were not able to believe that Shen was the boss of the place, and the cocky lady was now really getting frustrated by the fact that Shen was not just some worker in the cafe, but the owner instead. Kong wanted the lady to not feel even more humiliated, so she immediately told her that they should just skip on the coffee. Just after hearing that, the lady started smiling while turning around, telling them that they should do the coffee treat some other day because she did not want to drink anymore. She was not able to believe that Shen was actually fully loaded with money and even owned a cafe while having such gorgeous women around him. Yet he told them that he was just doing the side job, and now, the lady was completely humiliated way more than she had ever been in his whole life. Looking at that, Meng wondered about why the female classmates have just left. But Shen just smiled with hands in his pocket, telling the lady that maybe they got intimidated by the two gorgeous enchantresses, who were naturally more beautiful than them. Hearing that, Meng started acting naughty once again, telling Shen to not get any funny ideas and better behave himself. As the scene shifts, we see that both Meng and Shen were sitting on the table, while Chen came outside with the coffee in her beautiful hands, offering it to Chen while telling him that as she was not sure about how sweet he liked the coffee, she made it half sugar. Just then, Shen delivered a cheesy line and told the lady that if the coffee was made by her hands, then it is full sugar no matter what. Meng immediately started laughing, wondering about what era it was and who even uses this cheesy pickup lines to impress the girls. But whenever a rich and handsome guy says them, they do hit differently. Meng was getting some naughty ideas while she looked at both Shen and Chen flirting around. She started forming a conversation first, asking the boy about what his height and weight was for calculating his body mass index. Shen told Meng that he was 182 centimeters with a weight of 72 kilograms, but he had probably lost a little bit recently. The lady wondered about why this had happened, and Shen just playfully looked at Chen, telling her friend that he did too much exertion in a few days. Chen was blushing intensely, while wondering about why Shen would say that in front of her best friend. But even Meng realized what Shen meant by those words, looking at him from bottom to top, and telling him that he should really train even more, as his body fat percentage was a bit low, and he needed to put on at least 7 to 10 kgs of muscle. Shen realized that Meng was trying to convince the boy to sign up at her gym, and hearing that, the lady started laughing, telling the boy that she got a hit, her sales target by the end of the month. But she will still not let the boy down, no matter what. Shen was getting annoyed by all those promotions and stopped the lady by telling her that he'll think about it. And as the female looked at her phone once again, she realized that it was already past 4, and now she will have to go because she had got a personal training class at 5. They decided to catch up next time, and the lady turned towards Shen, winking at him and going away. Shen just passed a smile while thinking that Meng was just a little vixen who was getting too bold in front of him. The boy decided to tame her sooner or later, while he immediately got up, grabbing the hands of Chen and telling her that they needed to go to the second floor for some personal training too. At first, the lady wondered about what training she was going to receive. But as Shen pulled her out once again, the lady realized the kind of training they had to do, because her skills could use some extra teachings and punishments. Chen whispered onto the ear of the boy that the worker was still around, and they should not do anything there. but it only makes the boy go faster as he started enjoying and savoring the moment with a kiss. But as they ran onto the second floor, Xiao was able to hear everything, wondering about what was going on, and as she heard the cute but naughty voices of the female owner, she immediately put up the closed board for no disturbance. But suddenly, Meng came running towards the shop, banging at the door and telling the worker to open it, because she had left her bag inside. The lady was hesitant and was not ready to open the door for the female. But Meng wondered about what was taking the worker so long to do it, and it was about time that even she heard the naughty noises, while Chen called out to Shen, telling him to go a little gentler because it was too much to handle. Meng was not able to believe that even when it was broad daylight, they were doing it non-stop and with such strength. The lady decided to not go and hear about how long Shen can maintain his stamina. Even after 10 more minutes, the lady was surprised that even when the boy looked so lean, he had got so much strength, and this was making the girl really warm up in different places, while she realized that Shen was someone with a lot of potential. She screamed at the worker so that both the lady and the boy can listen, while telling her that she was heading out. Chen was completely embarrassed, realizing that her best friend had walked in on the scene. But Shen was getting happy instead, thinking that a proper training session needs an audience. But as Meng was listening in for at least 10 minutes, Shen realized that a premium show like this should not be free, and he had got to charge the lady the next time with something. As the scene shifts, we come to the secretary office of the school, where the secretary was shocked that Shen, who was a student of the school, wants to invest in the startup incubator. Teacher Li was standing with a serious pose, agreeing to the secretary. But the man was skeptical, asking the lady if the boy even had the funds, and if she had verified his assets. The lady explained that even when she did not believe it at first either, she checked his bank account and he has 10 million inside. The man was still not ready to leave her, trying to annoy the lady a little more, asking her if the money was not from his parents, or if Shen had full control over it. Teacher Li annoyingly informed the man that Shen can indeed use it freely, and if this was the case, the man was getting happy because he did not need to collaborate with any kind of third party anymore. He ordered the lady to call Shen to his office because he wanted to hear his proposal directly. But this was a bit too much, because even when Shen was a student, he was going to be an investor this time, and they should treat him a bit more respectfully. But the man thought that as Shen was a student from his school, he cannot let him get too full of himself, and he needs to be put in his place. The scene shifts back to the room once again, where Shen was busy, but he stopped at the moment for a little as he saw that it was a call from Professor Li. He wondered about what the matter was, and as the lady explained everything, Shen started smiling, realizing that the school's attitude towards the investor was not right. And as they were trying to control him, Shen decided to do the complete opposite and wanted the teacher to put him on speaker, so that he can have a word with the secretary himself. The lady did just that, and Shen told the secretary that he was quite busy lately with several investment projects to evaluate, so they should set up a meeting when Shen had time instead. And if the man wanted to contact the boy before that, then Professor Li will give the boy's number to him. Even when the secretary wanted the boy to wait, it did not work at all, and Shen hung up the phone. The teacher was even more impressed, realizing that Shen had got a lot of guts for hanging up on the face of the school secretary. The old man was really flustered, not able to believe that a student has hung up on him when every student council member shows respect and greets him with utmost carefulness. He was not able to believe that Shen was this arrogant when he had just a bit more money. But he was in a really bad situation, and the project was really urgent, and if he does not do something about it, he will be the one who will be held accountable for the failure of the project. The secretary decided to drink his pride and told the teacher that since Shen had the capacity to invest, they should invite him out for a meal. Finally, the lady texted Shen about the offer and he read it while still being inside Chen. He smiled, realizing that the negotiation balance was in his favor right now, and he decided to gain full control over the investment, so he decided to not reply instantly. The lady realized that Shen was having a lot of work to do, so she offered that Shen should go ahead and take care of his businesses, and that they can have dinner another time. Shen was happy that Chen was really taking care of him in every way, signifying that she was really a good woman. But suddenly, the boy got a call from Min, while she wondered about what the boy was doing and if he had the time to go for a walk on the track. Shen sarcastically told the lady that he thought that she was inviting him for a cold drink, but she explained that she can't, because of the time of the month. Shen realized that it was no wonder that Min had not come to see him these past couple of days. Shen started acting all cool while grabbing his pants, telling Min that her health was more important, and for that, he was going to come and pick her up downstairs at the dorm. As the scene shifts, we see that the girl hugged the boy immediately as she saw him. Shen told her to be careful over the next few days and take care of herself. The lady kissed the boy onto his cheeks, asking him about what kind of relationship they had now. Min knew that she will have to ask this question today because they have done everything a couple could do, and now all she wanted was a proper title. Shen knew that this was a dangerous question for him, but the lady's affection was going up in numbers once again, and the boy realized that the lady really liked him. Shen announced that they were definitely boyfriend and girlfriend, and this made the girl really happy. But she was not ready to believe it completely, asking Shen if she was her only girlfriend. The boy smiled devilishly while saying yes to the lady, thinking that the other women were not his girlfriends, but instead they were sweeties, bobbies, babes, and darlings. On the other hand, Min was really happy, telling Shen that as he was being a good boy, she was going to give a proper reward to him in a couple of days. But Shen stopped, asking the lady if she was free this weekend because he wanted to buy a car or a house for her. The lady was not ready to take such an expensive gift, telling Shen that a bag of makeup or something trivial was already great. But Shen explained that there was no need for him to save money. But since they were still in school every day, they won't really need a car, and instead, the girl should get a house first, and whenever she needed a car later, Shen would buy it in full. The lady agreed to the decision, and Shen told her that, as it was getting late, they should go back to their dorms and make sure that the girl rests properly. Shen realized that he needed to go to the lake to take possession of the mystery property that he had got as a gift. As the scene shifts to the next day, we see that Shen was on a video call with the fitness instructor, who was telling him to come and hit the gym when he was free. Shen sarcastically told the lady after looking at her dress that it was not appropriate at all. But the lady started flirting with the boy once again, telling him that only naughty men think that the dress is inappropriate, and Shen was just having dirty thoughts and nothing else. Meanwhile, from the tonality of the voice, Mang realized that Shen was not treating her like an outsider, and now she only wanted to see about how much longer he can hold out. But suddenly we see the gold digger Ting, who called out to the coach, asking her about why she was smiling so happily, so early in the morning. Meng told Ting that she was just chatting with a friend, and something funny came up. But Ting was enjoying the gossip, wanting to know even more. Meng started telling the girl about her own ex-boyfriend, and how he had brought a 3 million apartment for not even a confirmed date. Ting realized that the man the instructor was talking about must be worth over tens of millions, and even Meng was getting so envious about it. At first, Ting thought that with that kind of wealth, the man must be really old. But the lady was such a gold digger that she thought that if she got someone like that, she would be ready to sleep with him and get all the money. Pardik was shocked even more when Meng told her that the man was in his early 20s, younger than even her friend. Ting was not able to believe at anything, thinking that the boy must be ugly. But the girl told her that he is handsome and tall altogether. Ting realized that Meng's friend was a real beauty to catch a guy like that. And hearing that, Meng told Ting that they were about the same in the figures, but they had different strengths. But suddenly, as they were talking, Meng got a text message from Shen which told her that Shen was going to take the possession of a house near the lake property, and Meng did not leave any opportunity to go there, wanting to go with him. Shen informed her that he was going alone, but if the lady was free, then she should join him. Hearing that, Meng immediately got flustered, telling Chen to come and pick her up because she was at the gym right now. The lady sent her location to the boy and started waiting, while Ting noticed that her coach was happier than earlier. The coach apologized to the lady, telling her that they needed to skip their session of the day. She promised to refund Ting's personal training fee at double the rate because the man she had just mentioned had asked her out, and now she was going with him. Hearing that the boy was buying another house, Ting too realized the potential that he had. But suddenly she realized something and wondered about why Meng was going with the partner of her friend when she should be the one to go instead. Ting started smiling as she realized the whole situation, calling out the coach as ruthless, because she was stealing her best friend's man. But honestly, Ting was not going to hesitate stealing the guy either, if she knew who he was. As Meng was going away, another instructor at the gym approached her, but he was completely ignored by the lady. It was 10 minutes later, and both Ting and the male instructor looked at the lady and the M9, not able to believe that driving such a cheap car can get the fitness coach. But Ting informed the man to not be fooled by the car, because the boy inside had brought his girlfriend a 300,000 house without even blinking. The man realized that even he cannot earn this much after working for many years. But suddenly, as the boy was getting outside the car, Ting was shocked, wondering if the guy looks kind of familiar. And finally, it was revealed to her that the rich playboy was none other than Shen himself, and that all rich and handsome guy that the coach was talking about was her ex, who was now a multi-billionaire, and Ting was the dumb girl who had just dumped him 2 weeks ago, erasing her chances of approaching him.